joyous time when we thought Dan was leaving, but don't even try to think about coming back because we're changing the locks on the door and we might even move. Well, when Dan decided to come back, it was all Don McAllister could do to work 2 more years. So Don Howling, Dr. George Nerren, as Don's replacement. Like all the rest of us employees, George quickly learned that he had made a mistake, but he was stuck. George?
I had a good time driving with Dan all across this state, and I want to tell you that there's something that was unique about Dan. He always drove the van right down to the very nub in the gasoline. I mean, he didn't mind to drive until it was almost on empty, and as a new employee, I would sometimes be reluctant to challenge him on it, so I tried to find new ways to say things like, "Hey Dan, what does that light flashing mean?" Oh, he'd say it doesn't mean anything, and I'd say later on, "Hey Dan, how long do you think that light will flash?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "Dan, do you think we have to wait until it quits flashing to buy some gas?" "No," he said, "we'll be all right, don't worry about it." Finally I said, "Dan, how are we doing on fuel?" He said, "Well, we got plenty of gas." I said, "I know, Dan, but how are we doing on fuel?" But you know, Dan driving that van was indicative of his leadership style. He was optimistic. He was optimistic, and that optimism was catching for us that served on the staff. He had the "we can do it" sort of attitude. Whether we were doing a convention or a retreat or legislation or publications, Dan shared that optimism. Secondly, he always got the most out of what we had. He got the most out of the gas tank. He got the most out of the staff. He got the most out of the equipment that we had. When sometimes it didn't work, he got the most out of the materials. A few years ago, a study was conducted about what makes truly great leaders. And they came up with 2 things about great leaders that I think fit Dan in this story about the gasoline, because that was the lesson I learned about Dan and how he could get the most out of it. And this is what the story said in essence. Great leaders are those people who don't try to put in what God left out. Great leaders are those people who try to pull out what God put in. Dan was really a great leader. He could do that. He could pull out of us what he thought that God put in. Dan, I wanted to get you a gold watch, but as you know, I'm semi-retired and my budget's a little strapped, and so I wasn't able to get you a gold watch, but I do have something I want to present to you. It's a website, and it always gives you the correct time and temperature. I like to give you that.